Welcome, welcome everybody. Isabel Starck here, your hostess for the Empower Hour. So great to have you. Welcome. It's been a great week. We are here finally at episode number 15, and I have the lovely Tanya Clark being welcome today. Welcome, everybody. Isabel Starck here, your hostess for the Empower Hour. So great to have you. Welcome. Tanya, we're just doing a little testing here, guys, too. Bear with us a little bit. Can you still hear me, Tanya? Yeah? You can still hear me? Good. Okay. So with the feedback that you were getting, you might need to actually plug in some earphones. If you have those handy, we'll just test that out in a little bit. But as you're getting those ready, I'll tell the viewers a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. So if you have any headsets handy, maybe you can grab those like from your earphone or from your phone. No, got nothing?
No.
Okay. Testing here, guys, too. Bear with us a little bit. Can you still hear me, Tanya?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
You can still hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. So, and I'm wondering if we're getting feedback from a different the same one that you're looking for. If you have those handy, we'll just test that out in a little bit. But as you're getting those ready, I'll tell the viewers a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. So if you have any headsets, sorry, your phone, we'll get working out. Don't worry. What I suggest you probably do. Still hear me, Daniel?
Yes, I can hear you.
Mute.
Okay. Yes.
You still hear me?
Yes, I can hear me.
So if you mute yourself, or mute me, I guess. Do you use any kind of earphones or headset for your telephone? Nope. Okay. Because typically what's happening is the voice is coming through your speakers is actually being fed back into the microphone. We'll get working out. Don't worry. Little technical glitch that happened. It's strange that it wasn't happening earlier though on our test. So can you turn down the volume a bit? Does that help? We'll be right with you guys. So sorry, we're just working out the technical difficulties so you guys can actually hear us properly as we're conducting our interview. So as Tanya goes, are you working on that, Tanya? You turn down the volume, and then when you unmute yourself, we'll see if actually the feedback's continuing to go through. No? No? Okay, can you still hear me? Okay, good. Well, this might be a little fun way to do their interview today. So obviously I have a number of questions that we want to ask you, and there are viewers online who I'm sure have their questions as well. So as they type them in, I'll actually read them aloud to you, and then you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get the volume down.
Okay. All right, good. Good. So I think we'll be able to get that to work. We'll see. But thank you guys all for your patience, number one. Technical difficulties do come up, and you know what? You just got to kind of right. So other than doing tests and making sure things are going to work well, this might be a fun way to do their interview today. So obviously I have a number of questions that we want to ask you. If there are viewers online who I'm sure have their so still quite loud. When you turn it down low enough, like you're not hearing me. I can still hear you. Is it back there? No. This might be a fun way. Right. So what I'm going to have you mute yourself while I speak, and then after you hear the question, what I'll have you do is just unmute yourself. I'll stay quiet, and you can go ahead and answer for our viewers. So how does that sound?
That sounds fine.
it'll work. It'll all work out. So again, thank you guys for joining in live. My name is Isabel Starck, and I'm a business and empowerment coach, and I run the Empower Hour. So I bring to you guys weekly amazing guests who are going to help you to build your business, to empower you to go to the next level. So today I'm introducing Tanya Clark. She's an attorney and business coach herself, and she actually runs a business called Vision Expansion LLC. So the way that I met Tanya was actually through a Facebook group, interestingly enough. If you all know, most of you are probably coming in from my Facebook group, Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur. And I happened to see her in another group that I belong to. And, you know, I just liked her message, her comment, and I reached out. And lo and behold, you know, we hit it off on the phone. We had a great conversation that first time. And I really believe that what she's offering to the market is something that's really, she's one of the top people that you would need to hire when you're getting your business started. And I honestly believe that. Attorneys, accountants, and your first virtual assistant. Those are the top three in my book, at least. And with that, I wanted to give you guys just a little background as to what it is that she does, how she can help you in your business. And also we have a few questions that were sent in prior that I can ask her. And so you can kind of get to know her and see if she can help you building your business. So Tanya, why don't you go ahead and take it away, let everybody know about your business, Vision Expansion, and you know a little bit about your history, and then we can go ahead and lead in with the questions. So take it away, and I'll stick.
Okay, well, I've been an attorney for over 17 years, and I worked in large law firms, major corporations, auto suppliers, as well as military defense corporations. And you know, I found that, you know, working with large corporations, there were a number of processes and systems that can be utilized in small businesses and startups. And a lot of times people who have not worked in corporate America, you know, they don't see that, you know, some of these systems can actually be transferred into their business. So I decided that, you know, it was high time for me to, you know, actually branch out on my own and do other things and help startup entrepreneurs and startup businesses to protect their business as well as to build and grow their business. So, you know, a lot of things that people don't think about when they first start a business, like business formation, you know, being a solo entrepreneur, solo practitioner, or a solo proprietor doesn't provide you certain asset protection. You should, you know, actually have that business formation shield with an LLC or corporation, as well as having the right systems in place. You need to have the right contracts in place, from confidentiality agreements to privacy policies and non-compete agreements, even on your website, terms and conditions. So there are a number of things that I found that, you know, entrepreneurs, when they start a business, they don't think about. So I try to fill that gap, as well as help them with growing their business in certain marketing aspects. So that's how I started, and that's what I try to do.
As you're going into
as well as having the right contracts in place,
and we have
website terms and conditions. So there are a number of things. I really couldn't hear that last question, Isabel. When they started business, so I tried to fill that gap, as well as help them with growing their business in certain markets. So that's how. There's a lot of feedback. So I'm sorry, I don't have any earplugs, and I really can't hear you.
Okay. Let's see. All right. You are on the map. Now, can you hear me, Tanya? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you now. There's a lot of feedback, so I'm sorry I don't have any earplugs. I really can't hear you.
And it's the fact that how does that relate to national because it has been years on before. You're basically you're set up right? All right. Not getting it?
Nope.
Okay. I think we're gonna need to try to see the volume problem first. So,
Yes, I can hear you now.
you can hear me now. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good. And down my volume. You know what's actually when the guest has actually hung up and back in.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you all for being so patient. I really, really appreciate it. You know, like I said, things come up, so you just have to kind of work through them. We did our test prior, and everything had worked off without a hitch. So just stuff happens. You got to be patient. I can entertain you in between. So while we're waiting for Tanya to come back, if you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to send them in. So if you didn't send them in via the Facebook group or through my business page, what you can do is actually on this screen, either on the upper right or the upper left, you'll see the 9 Google squares. If you're actually watching through my webpage or through YouTube, first what you'll have to do is click on the box here that says join the conversation. Once you click on that, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to go to the next window. It's going to open up into a Google Plus page. And up here on the upper right or the upper left, you're going to see the 9 Google squares. You just select the 9 Google squares, hover over that, and then you'll see a Q&A app. Click on the Q&A app, and a side panel will open up with the question and answer area. All you got to do is type in your question. It'll pop up on my end, and I will then go ahead and ask it live here of Tanya. So it looks like Tanya's back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, and it's perfect, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, so we should have done that earlier. Sorry, guys. See, 13 minutes in, we're all good. I told you guys it was going to be fine. So I'm just going to open up my Q&A app here to make sure that everything is working proper. All right, there it is. All right, so why don't we go ahead and reintroduce you after, because I think right as you were introducing yourself, we heard everything fine. And then when I asked my first question is when it kind of went down. So the question that kind of led me, or from what you described, was how your services actually translate to the international market. Because I know that we have international viewers, and as you're based in the US, do you have any international clients? What is it that you recommend that they do?
Actually, some of the things that people think about when they start a business plan that translates to international market, having the trademarking and copywriting services. Although I am only licensed in the United States, in Michigan, I have connections with people that are in 8 different countries, attorneys. So those services can be utilized in the international market. When you think about strategies for building a business that's sustainable, as well as marketing, all of those things translate to businesses that are international and not just US based. So absolutely. We have people that we can contact and connect with in other countries that are attorneys that can help with contracts and templates and everything. So all those things can be utilized.
Wonderful. So would you consider them, are they partners of yours under Vision Expansion, or is it more colleagues that you can reach out to have them file the paperwork that's needed legally in each country?
Colleagues that I can reach out to and under a joint venture kind of a agreement to get things done. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know, because I know that some of the questions that did come in had to do with, well, where is she based? Is this only going to be for the U.S.? It's great to hear that you have actually other contacts in other areas. And from our previous conversation, I know that we talked about some bigger plans. So if you feel like sharing those, I'll let you do that later. But okay. If not, we can save that for another time.
All right.
Yeah. So, with the guests that I do have on here, I number one, what really brings you guys to this show is the fact that I feel that you are a successful business person. And I'd like to be able to share with my viewers how you came about that success and what success actually means to you. Because once I started writing down what success meant to so many different people, I mean, you pick 100 people, you get 100 answers. So what does success mean to you?
For me, it means freedom from being restricted, to just working a 9-to-5 job, just working under an employer. It means having a close relationship with God. It means having more time to spend with my family and my friends. It means, having an opportunity to, be of service to others. That's a lot of things that people don't think about when they start a business. They think about what's in it for me and not how they're going to be able to, hit other people's like pain points and how they're going to help other people to expand their businesses and help their businesses. So those are the things that, I think about as far as success. I have a daughter that's young. She's 7 years old, and she's my why. She's why I do the things that I do. She's the reason why, I try to excel in everything that I do. I want to be a good role model for her, as well as be able to build a business that can be somewhat of a legacy for her, and she can have something, that she can look towards in other areas. I mean, I have real estate and, an online store. So there are things that, she can look towards as well. And the store is actually named after her. So, that's my
real estate business as well, or you have real estate and you have a store?
Yeah, real estate and a store. So I think people should always think about having more than one stream of income, because if the economy tanks in one area, because we know what happened with real estate only 7 years ago, you have something else to fall back on. You have something else that you can look to sustain your income or to keep you going during that downtime. More than one stream of income is something that I teach in my wealth mindset portion of my programs, and I think it's very important to have that.
And from the clients that you actually have, do you find that most of them are familiar with having multiple streams of income, or is it something that's new to them?
I think it's something that's new to most of them. They don't think about the fact that although we look at the economy and we look at the news reports and we look at companies laying off people by the thousands and droves every day, they don't think about the fact that they need to do something to have more than one stream of income. And a lot of people look at like maybe Bill Gates or Donald Trump or other people, and they think about how many, and look at the fact that this person may have this corporation that kind of defines them, but they've also have investments in real estate, or they also have a clothing line, or they also have the television show. I mean, those are actually other streams of income. So they're not just thinking about that one thing, because like what I said, when things tank, what is going to be there sustain your living at that time period. So I think is very important.
No, I totally agree. And it's, I don't know I can't remember how long you've actually been an entrepreneur, but it feels like once you dip your toe in and you get started, the ideas just really start coming and you can't stop.
Yes.
It's like you realize I can do anything I really want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's, I know I've shared my story before, but we started with a brick and mortar with our entrepreneur business, and it just within those first 6 years it's really grown into so much more than we ever really expected. And so but this episode is not about me. It's about you.
yeah but I mean it's really important. And when you think about when people start businesses, why are they doing this? You have to think about your why. What pain point are you trying to solve and with your target market, as well as how is this going to be a sustainable business for you down the road? What plans are you putting in place? I've met a lot of people who don't have a business plan. It doesn't have to be a 7-volume 100-page plan, but it needs to have certain things in it that you can look to have a roadmap and a blueprint to get you from one level to another. And, a lot of times people don't want to think about the financing and want to think about, I just want to open this store, or I just want to do this. Well, how you going to pay for that? And if you have a full-time job, if you are working your full-time job and you don't have at least a year to 18 months worth of salary put aside, then you need to start that business while you're still doing other things, while you're still working that 9 to 5, because you can't be calm and you can't think things through when you're worrying about how you're going to pay your light bill, how you're going to pay your gas bill, how you're going to do, certain things. I think that, you're going to have to put in that time and put in that work and in the beginning to go forward and have that business. So we always underestimate how much things are going to cost. It's very expensive. So
it's like building a house.
Exactly.
Double it.
Exactly. You never know what's going to pop up. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Just from experience as well, when we started our business, we worked 2 jobs. We worked our corporate job, and we worked, starting it up for, I think it was 12 months before we were actually able to completely sell the other business and go into it wholeheartedly. So I totally agree with that. But, there are times when people hit some rough spots, and then what do you do?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can't think about everything, but at least I think that, let me back up. I think that success in certain areas leaves clues. And if you can look at, what other people in those maybe same businesses have done, and a lot of times people will share with you their experiences, and they'll share with you, what, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have, looked at this marketing. I wish this, different book or whatever, talk to people, reach out and, try to get that extra help. And people will help you. I mean, I ask for help all the time. There's no one that knows everything. And you got to put your ego aside and ask questions. And, people will help you. And it'll save you a lot of time, because all the things that they've done for maybe the 2 or 3 years before you, it'll bring your time down to maybe a month or 2 months.
Yeah, and collapsing the timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's important, and I think that people have to, this is one of the issues that I've worked to get past, is fear of failure. And, we all have that, especially as an entrepreneur and someone that's educated, you start to think that, I know everything, and if it doesn't work, then what I'm going to do? Well, then what's going to happen? And, failure is okay. Now you know that you can't do it that way. Now you know that you have to, try something different. You learn through failure. And that's what I'm trying to continuously tell myself. You and I just spoke about before this started, my comfort zone and my, level of comfort with like the webinars and everything. So it's like, as much as I want to be a perfectionist in other areas of my life, it's like, what, this is something that I don't know. I'm not a techie. So I need help. I need someone to help me through that process. So you just have to, get past your fears too, and just move. You can't just sit there and just overanalyze things and think, okay, well, I can't do this, so everything else is shut down. It doesn't work.
It's a really wise woman or man to not just recognize it, but to also take it in and be able to learn from other people's lessons. I know that's one of the things that I've been told all my life is, you learn from my mistakes, And in some cases I did learn from other people's mistakes, but in other cases I needed to fall flat on my face.
Yes.
So I could feel it myself.
Yes.
And hopefully you can kind of get past that and really be able to, take all the knowledge that you have around you. And like you said, put your ego aside and just be able and open to accepting. But, you shared something about success and being able to learn from, your mistakes. And I have something that I call, there are no failures. There's only lessons.
Only lessons
that you learn. But, if you could go back to the beginning from your whole journey, what is it that you might change or that you might tell yourself, your earlier self, about being in business and what it's like?
I would tell myself that it's going to take a lot longer than you think. It's going to take a lot more money than you think. And to reach out to people to get the help that you need prior to trying to do the DIY. At what point it was like I was trying to figure it all out on my own. And, I needed to put myself in a different circle to reach out to people and get them to try to help me. I would have done that differently. And I would have thought about the fact that, like we just said, that, just because I failed at one thing or, the market didn't do right, didn't go the way I thought it would go, because I had failures in real estate. I had a number of properties at one point that, I had a number of mortgages. I had a lot of things. And then when the economy dropped in like 06, 07, 08, I had to retool. It's okay. And that you can't take whatever you have personally, and I mean, when I say personally, like your personal assets and your personal finances, to try to keep a business afloat, that you need at one point, maybe you need to walk away and then start over again. Because if you keep using all your personal assets to do certain things and keep things afloat, then you don't have that safe haven for your household, your personal. You can't get emotionally attached to things. You can't get emotionally attached to business. Business is business, personal is personal. So if things aren't working, you either retool and try to work through that, or maybe you need to step back or walk away and do something different. And that's okay. That's, like you said, it's not a failure. You're just doing something that's an obstacle that you overcome and you keep moving. That's what I see.
And that's, I think, probably where that business plan comes in, having a map as to where you desire to take your business. And if it's not at a certain level, you do have to have that difficult conversation. Do we retool it? Do we just chuck it all together and do we start fresh?
Yes. You can't keep throwing money into a black hole and it's not producing anything. And then you've mortgaged your house that you live in. You've taken out all these loans. People have, sometimes you have to say, stop, this is not working. Maybe I did something wrong or I should have done something differently. And it's okay. But don't get yourself into that hole and then you can't get out.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I know personally a lot of people who have actually gone that route, and it's really hard when you so believe in something, because you have people who have a dream, right? They have a dream and they believe in it and they go to the ends of the earth for it. I'm sure you've probably had some clients in that situation where it's almost like counseling. If they really need counseling to kind of put this, business child to death, because really building a business is really like raising a child.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can put all the facts in front of someone. You can have all the, profit and loss statements, all the P&L statements in front of them. You can have everything in front of them. But because they feel so passionately about something and they're so emotionally attached to it, they don't see that maybe this is not the right way to go and maybe you should do something different. And, sometimes you have to have those hard conversations. But like, we just said, it's not really a failure. Now you know that you can't do it that way. Now you know you need to do something different. So
you just found a way that didn't work.
Exactly. You found a way that didn't work. And that's okay.
No, that's totally okay. Well, you've seen, we've never met in person. We've only met via the phone and now video. But you come across to me as a very, very strong woman. And obviously, you're raising a young daughter, 7 years old. She, I'm sure, looks to you for a lot of support and strength and just modeling. But where does your strength come from? Like, where is it that you draw your strength from?
Actually, I'm very, I won't say spiritual. I think that I was raised in the church. I have a relationship with God. And, a lot of people say, well, the universe this and the universe that. For me, it's God, and I'm a Christian. So that's where I get my strength from. And I come from a family that has a number of entrepreneurs, a number of professional people in my family. And, I've, even when I wanted to start, as an example, when I wanted to start investing in real estate, I have an aunt that, had apartment buildings and adult foster care homes. And I actually got in the car with her and rode around, and she showed me, we went to Home Depot together, and we, I had a base in my family that I could look to as well. When I said I wanted to do this, can you help me? Absolutely. we'll do this. And I remember her telling me, I had graduated from law school. I started my first job at a firm, and I was working to start buying property. And I was like 30 years old. And I said to her, I want to buy a Cadillac. I'm making all this money now, and I want to do this. And she said, absolutely not. That's not what you're going to do. She said, when the investments that you make can pay for those extra things, then that's when you get that car. She said, you don't take your everyday money. You don't take this. She said, when you get your investments to the point that they can pay for all these extra toys and extra things that you want, you take that money and you use that to buy the toys. She said, you don't, and you're still working. She said, obviously you still have to work. So don't go and start spending money frivolously, because that's when people make a mistake. So, just those, and I remember her telling me, and that was years ago, so those types of things, and having those people in my life who can tell me, stop, no, you don't do this. No, you don't do that. Invaluable to have that,
You got some great teachers. Your aunt sounds like a very smart woman.
Yes. Yeah. She's very, very smart, and she's had a number of businesses, and even going all the way back to my grandmother, as a Black woman, back in, like the 40s, 50s or whatever, and having, owning property, owning an apartment building. And then like my great grandmother had a restaurant, and so coming from that line of women that were strong and entrepreneurial, it was just like a no-brainer for me. It was like the next step. Mm-hmm. So, and I really appreciate having that base. And, but first and foremost, my relationship with God is my strength. That's it.
Yeah, he's always there for us. We just have to be reminded.
Yes.
And that's really good. I know before we actually started chatting or going live, we were talking about spiritualness and how it just seems I'm almost feeling like there's kind of this quickening back into the church and to spirituality. And I'm really enjoying it, because I was one of those who left for a little while and then I came back. And yeah, there's people do talk about the universe. And for me, God and the universe are interchangeable, because God is the universe. That's the way I see it. But it's just really nice to be able to have, spiritual conversations with people that you do business with.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And you and I know, when you look at my personal page and when you look at my business page, it is interchangeable for me. I had someone that, this was last year when I was first starting out, and I asked her, she was going to do, she did like my social media, and she did some VA work for me. And she said, well, you might not want to, talk about God as much, and you might not want to do this, but some people be offended. And I said, you know what? This is me. I'm going to be authentic. This is who I am. I'm not going to stop that. And, I'm not the person for everybody. They're not my customer. They're not, who I need to work with. And that's okay. There are like 1 billion people on Facebook and 7 billion people in the world. And if those people don't like what I project and where my strength comes from, then it's okay. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah, there's 1 billion minus one out there.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I do want to kind of do a little quick break for those people who are watching live. If you guys wanted to ask a question, all you got to do is actually click on the bar here that says join the conversation if you're watching through YouTube or my website, and it'll take you into the Google Plus page. And at that point, you're going to see the 9 squares up in these areas. Just hover over those, click on the Q&A app, a side panel will open up, and just type in your question there, and I'll read it out loud for Tanya to answer. So again, we have Tanya, attorney and business coach, with us. She owns Business Expansion LLC in the United States, and she's answering our questions regarding all things law. Although we haven't had too many law questions, I have thrown in a few in there, but maybe this is a good time to answer a question for any new entrepreneurs, somebody who's aspiring to become an entrepreneur. What kind of legal advice would you actually give somebody who's just starting out?
Actually, I'm not going to try to like totally publicize the book that I have, but I do have an ebook. And it's called the 7 Things to Do Before Starting a Business. And in that book, the main thing that I try to stress is that you need to have the legal foundation, and you need to know which business formation that's best for the type of business that you want to form, as well as having all of your contracts in place. If you're going to have a website, which I think everybody should have a website, what are your terms and conditions for your website? Are you going to have, are you going to have a privacy policy, which you should? Are you going to have a refund policy? Are you going to have confidentiality agreements with the people that you work with, your vendors? Are you going to have vendor contracts, supplier contracts? Are you going to have, there's a number of things that I think before you even branch out and start servicing people, you need to have your systems in place, and you need to have the legal background and basis in place. And that's why I try to, stress to people, because you don't want to go out, start the business as a sole proprietor, and something happens, and they go after your assets, your personal assets, because a lot of times in the beginning there are no business assets, and you may have to sign certain documents with a personal guarantee, and but at least there is some type of protection that you can have by starting with the basics. And so I think that that's very important.
Okay, so you're actually not advocating doing a sole proprietorship then?
No, I don't. A lot of times people just start, especially even you'll see maybe other professions like other accountants or other counselors, they'll start out without an actual business. They'll just, have their name out there, and they'll start to do business with no documents in place. And that's very risky if you make a mistake. If there's, any issues, you need to have some insurance in place. Especially people don't think about, for counselors, as an example, there's different insurances that are for liability that'll prevent or protect you, that if you do make some mistakes. And, that people need to have those in place too. And all these things need to be researched before you start that business. A lot of times people don't even know that they may need a license to do certain things. In different states in the United States, they may require certain licensing. So do you have a license to do what you want to do? Is there a permit that's required? All of these things are part of your research process before you start that business.
Good points. Very good points. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me see. I'm just going to go pop over to the questions that were sent in previously and take a look at what we have here. So, well, this would actually be really good because, again, we're talking more things about law. Like what type of services can someone expect to receive from working with you?
Well, we do. First and foremost, I always start with a wealth mindset, conversation, training, because a lot of times people need to get through whatever their fears are and their confidence levels are. So that's first and foremost. From the next step, we go through and work on a business plan. What is your target market? I talk about that as well a lot, about, you can't service everyone. There has to be a niche that you have to drill down to and service that niche to the best of your ability, best of your capability. We just talked about business formation. What's the right business formation for you? Will it be an LLC? Will it be an S Corp? Will it be a C Corp? All of those different business formations have different tax liabilities. You have to think through that. You get that training as well as different contract templates that we talked about earlier. How do you deal with vendors, customers? Are you going to have employees? Will you have employee contracts? If you're going to do that, are you going to have independent contractor contracts? You can only have certain things in place with an employee in comparison to an independent contractor. There's time limits. There are, certain things that employees can do that independent contractors are not supposed to do. It's all based on the IRS guidelines. As well as if you're going to have a website, privacy policies, if you're going to actually give a product, what warranties are you going to have for that product, returns. There are a number of things that we cover, as well as some marketing strategies. Now, I actually have someone that comes in to help with marketing. I'm not a marketing guru. I know a lot about legal formations for businesses. But I do have people that'll come in and deal with the marketing aspects, trademarking and copywriting. We mentioned that before. Do you have the logo? Is your logo trademarked? Is your, you know, do you have a tagline to your company, to your name? All of those things need to be worked through. So there's a lot that's offered, from like end-to-end services, from starting the business to getting to actually doing a launch, that I can help with. And I have people like I work with and on a team that can get that done.
I know we had a conversation about the taglines and how a lot of taglines are now being trademarked and kind of swooped up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's scary to think. I mean, just kind of the standard things that we say that we can actually be hit with a lawsuit and not even know.
And, you know, and the first thing that will come may be a cease and desist letter telling you stop using my tagline, stop using my name. But all those things should have been researched beforehand, before you start using those taglines or the logo or whatever. There's a company that I, you know, started to work with recently, and I told them, I said, you know what, I want to use you to help my customers, you know, get their logos done, but they need to be able to trademark those logos. And they said, okay, well, you know, we can do that. So I'm still researching them, because I don't want to refer these people, you know, my people out to, you know, this company, and they can't get the full like benefit of the services. So, but all those things are important, you know, and that's what I try to offer and utilize the services of others where I'm not strong, like the marketing, to get the person up and running with their business, or to create the business and be more sustainable on a long-term basis.
And in your opinion, how long does it actually take to get somebody who's just comes to you with an idea to actually get them up and running?
Well, if it's just an idea, a lot of times people have a business plan that may be a 2 or 3 pager, and you know, we try to flesh that out. If it's just an idea, then it may take a lot longer. Like I have people who are a lot further along, and we may just do a 1-day VIP session, and that may be enough for them to run with what we've talked about and get their business off to a better start. There may be people who have a little bit more going on already that only need 3 months. And then, you know, we'll go from that point. And there's some people that need everything from start to finish, and it might take 6 months. So, but all those pieces are worked out in the beginning. You know, I start with a questionnaire, and I ask certain questions so that I can know, you know, what pain points that they have and what they need from me and my services. That's the beginning point for me. And then we work through those things together.
Good to know. Because we're both kind of on the online world, and that's kind of where we met, is in one of the groups. You know, we are bombarded right now with people, get your business up and running, you know, in 2 weeks, in 4 days, in 1 month. And honestly, I mean, for those of us who've actually started a business, you know, it does take much longer, just the research part.
Yes.
To be able to see.
Absolutely. It takes a lot longer than that. And, you know, especially if you have a business that you're starting that requires some licensing, you can't rush the government. So, you know, exactly.
Not even here in Canada.
So, you know, you have to think about all of those things. And you do research in a lot of different areas. What you want to do, is it something that your market really needs or really wants? Even though this may be your passion, it may be something that you want to offer. Is someone going to be willing to pay you for that? You know, that's something that goes into the research as well. How much saturation of the market is there? Is there? I mean, there's good to have some competition, because that means that the market does want what you have. But if it's overly saturated, you know, are you going to? You know, I know someone who started wanted to start a makeup company, and I said, you know, you're going to have to compete with L'Oreal. You're going to have to compete with Revlon. You know, how are you going to set yourself apart? What are you going to do that's going to be different? So, you know, there's a lot that goes into marketing and research, and all of these things should be done before you outlay a substantial amount of money to get things going.
Now, do you help them with that research, or is that where you have other professionals come in?
I help them with it to a certain extent, and then I do employ other professionals to take it to another level. Yeah, because I'm not I don't do statistics. I have a master's degree in business as well, but I don't do statistics. I don't do statistical analysis, and I don't do any of that. But I do know I have someone who can help them with that.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I think that's very important. You need to have, people on your team that you can pull from. It kind of concerns me when I see, like you said, we're on Facebook and we know each other through these groups, and how people can say they can do everything. How are you an expert in everything? There's no way that I can sit here and say that, I know everything about everything. And that concerns me. So I think that when people,
because one person's had a certain level of success, they really, for the most part, they feel that's their cookie cutter, and they can apply that to anybody who might come to them. But we're all unique. Every business model is unique.
Yes.
And you can't apply. Not everybody's going to be able to use the same newsletter subscriber.
Exactly. And you and I were talking earlier about the fact that I'm not technical, so I need someone to help me with certain aspects of technology when it comes to my business, and that's okay. So people need to know where they fit in and what they're good at. And when they can't get those things done, they need to be put their ego aside and just ask for help. And I'm really good at being very organized and trying to make sure that I schedule things and don't miss deadlines. And as an attorney, you had to do that, and you have to do that anyway. In working in corporate America, you have to do that anyway. But what I found is that I also need to be able to relinquish and delegate more. I can't do everything by myself. So I've said a couple of times, I'm going to have to get a VA. I'm going to have to get some help. So, even at that point, I had to put my ego aside. It's like, okay, you can say, I can do this by myself. I've been doing it forever. But okay, now when things, start to grow, you have to get someone else to help you with that organizational skill.
Like you said, you're a professional, you're a master at what it is that you do. You need to be able to free up your focus on what you're best at.
Exactly.
And that's when delegation really comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, even a nanny. Think about a nanny. Who's the best mother for our kids? We are the best mother for our kids, but we're constantly with them. We're not going to have a chance to even take a shower sometimes.
Yeah, and even I'm glad you said that. My the man that I'm dating now, he says to me that I need to relinquish a little of that control, and I let my daughter go other places and be with other people, and I'm working through that. So no one can do things for her like I can do things for her. So, but I'm working through it.
There ain't no mama like your mama.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, since you are a mom and you're juggling your businesses, share with us some of the tools that you actually use to stay organized and stay on track and actually make it all happen.
Okay. As an example, like with real estate, I have maintenance people. I have someone who deals with I don't go to court for any of the evictions. I actually have an attorney that I work with, and he deals with all of that. So I know that I can't be in all places at all times. The online store that I've started, I just started that, and I'm actually working on getting a customer service kind of VA to help me with that, so that I won't have to, deal with the suppliers that I have. I've had some supplier issues, so I'm working on that, and I need more customer service help. So like I mentioned with the consulting, I need to get someone that's a VA, as well as get someone to help me with, the techie parts, the landing pages and all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going through to figure out what I can delegate, so I can totally concentrate on what I'm good at and not be so consumed with the minutia. And I don't mean to minimize what other people do, but it's kind of like, okay, this is taken away from me being creative.
Well, they're experienced in their field. You want to get the best. So it sounds like your tools are actually more along the lines of people and delegating.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So do you utilize any kind of you already said you're not that very techy, but do you use any?
I have like a web.
Journal?
I I have AWeber, as my autoresponder. I have one person who deals with and updates my website for me. I have his name. I don't remember the name of his company. He actually got my website to the point that it was more Google ready, like recently, because I guess Google changed their algorithms recently, and if it wasn't a certain format, that it dropped down on the where the listing or whatever. So yeah, the ranking. So he's helped me with that over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we just finished that update. And that actually it's a WordPress website. So I'm using Calendly now to schedule my my one-on-ones, and where I was
linking all this stuff for you then.
Yes. So I'm trying to automate. I'm trying to move out of my comfort zone and automate. So those
will help you in the long run. It'll help you in the long run, so that when you're on vacation, your business is still working for you.
Yes. Yeah. And, it's a mindset that's totally different when you practice law or you do certain things in corporate America, because, we as lawyers sell our time for money, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So the only way that you can start to make more money or do certain things or leverage, what you do is by raising your rates. And it doesn't come, you don't start to think about, okay, am I adding more value or am I just raising these rates because I want to make more money? You can't really do that. So, you need to think of different avenues to do that. So that's why, I had to change my mindset and about how I give value to my customers, and not just I charge $400 an hour and, you're going to spend this amount of hours with me. And, so no, you need to think about what's the value that you're going to impart to these people at the end. What result are you going to have? And that's how, I give my services now instead of just doing hourly rates. So actually they get more from me.
That's great. And that's great. It's been a journey for you too. You said you've been you launched this business about a year ago. So
yeah,
it's an evolution. Each business really is, knowing that from the multiple ones that we've actually had. So now I'm at the point where I want to ask you kind of one of our fun questions that I ask all of our viewers, if you don't mind. And I kind of give you a little hint about this, so you kind of knew ahead of time, but it has to do with fears. We were talking about the fear of failure earlier, but I would love for you to share a story of maybe one of the fears that you had or have, and how you were able to overcome it, or what plans you have to overcome that fear, because we all got them.
Well, I have a fear of being on camera.
Well, look at that.
Exactly. So this is a big deal for me right now, to actually be on camera with you and have this conversation. I can write forever. I can write a book. I can write articles. I can, but my fear is to be on camera. I'm really stressed about that. So I just said, when you asked me about doing the interview, and you said, go back and look at some of the other ones that I did, and I've done interviews over the phone. I've done radio interviews. I've never done anything in person. So when I saw that this was on the video, I was like, okay, yeah, great. I would love to do that. Yay. But I was really terrified.
I had no idea. That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and then that's why I mentioned to you when we first started. I said, I'm going to need you to help me, with the webinars, with the Google Hangouts, and so because I was totally freaking out about doing in person or online webinar. So that was a big fear.
Well, that is great. Well, I'm really happy that I was able to provide this platform for you.
Yes.
To help you kind of get over, at least one step at a time. It's all great.
One step at a time.
How does it feel?
I feel okay. I feel better now. In the beginning, I was a little shaky, when the technology was screwing up in the sound, but you know what? It's fine. I'm good.
Yeah, you just got to take it in stride. And those things do come up. I've been in so many situations where everybody around me is like, oh my God, everything's falling down around us. But you just got to think, I don't know what mind that is that kind of goes into the creative mode, but mine totally gets turned on. And I'm really happy that I remembered to have you disconnect and come back on. And it was fixed. It just took a few seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. So Yeah, that's it for me.
Well, that is an awesome fear. And like I said, that I think it's even better the fact that you're here with us now live and you're on video and you're broadcasting live and you're going to live on YouTube. So you'll be able to obviously utilize this again. And you can probably even show your daughter, skip to this front, we'll skip to the end here and just show her one of your fears and how you were able to kind of overcome it.
Exactly. Yep. I will definitely be doing that. And I told my boyfriend, I said, you have to watch this and write down every little thing so I can look at it and be critical like later. So this was one.
Well, be nice to yourself because you've been great on camera. I mean, it's been a joy chatting with you. That's one of the things with the Empower Hours. Like, I told you, I just want it really relaxed. It's really like a conversation. People send in their questions ahead of time so that I can actually just kind of ask you in conversation and things just flow. Like it's no pressure. You seem really relaxed now, and I'm glad we're cracking up and just having a good time.
Yes.
Because that's what it's about. This is part of our business as well.
Yes.
And it doesn't really feel like it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I want to thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. As every time we speak, it's always a pleasure. And I do believe that we were attracted to each other. And this was a great experience.
Yeah, this was like I said, we were attracted, and I do believe it's the law of attraction. And
yes,
there's a reason that we've come into the group, and now we're sharing this. And I kind of have a feeling there's something more to come for us together. So. You viewers, just make sure that you can join our group and see what we might have that's going to be launching. Maybe this year, maybe next, who knows?
Yes.
If you kind of feel more of a connection and some kind of venture happening in the future.
Absolutely.
So with that, let me just take a look and make sure that we don't have any other questions here that we're going to miss because we're down to the last couple of minutes. Let's see, we went there. Oh, this is actually the final question, and I always like to ask my viewers. Mm-hmm. And it kind of ties back into the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group that we both belong to. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I introduced called the TTD. The TTD stands for the top to do. So, Tanya, I'd love to hear what your top to do for 2015 is. We're halfway or more than halfway through the year now. Right. But what was your big goal for this year?
To move past some of my comfort zone issues, and you were the first step to that. So I'm actually going to do like at least 3 webinars before the end of the year. That's on my to-do list. And to start working on another book that's going to be more towards businesses that are already started and how they can make their businesses more sustainable. So that's on my list, as well as just making my business a lot larger and being able to serve more people. So I have some actual business goals that I want to hit, and so I'm working on that. So those are the 3 things that I've already thought through. No, and I have a vision board with a ton of things on there. So, but those are the 3 that are business related.
That's wonderful. That's and I'm really touched and happy that I was able to kind of help you with one of your fears and that it was actually one of your goals. So, this is step 1. We have, 4 more months to go, and we're definitely going to get some of your webinars up and rolling, and they're going to be fantastic.
I appreciate your confidence. Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, this lives on YouTube, so you can watch it anytime and come back to it at your leisure. We're going to be wrapping up here. It just hit 1 o'clock. And if, again, you'd like to join us over in the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur Group, we are happy to have you. We offer a lot of great tips and things like this that are only available to the members inside the group. So we hope to have you there. Thank you for tuning in live. We really appreciate you showing up, and I hope you have a great day. So thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you so much, Tanya, for actually being my guest for episode number 15. I think past all the little glitches we had in the beginning, I think it was a fabulous interview. So thank you very much.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, hon.
Bye.
Bye for now.